Hello, this is the Q&A practice for the 100 class. It's going to start out with defense. Ready? Will you state your name, please? Philip Hunt. What is your home address, Mr. Hunt? 3650 Rand Road. How far is that from the Circle K Market? About 2 blocks. Were you in the Circle K Market on November 24? Yes, sir. What year? 2012. Were you there at the time the market was being robbed? Yes, sir. Was anybody with you at that time? Sam Abbott was with me. The two of you had just been hanging around the place. Is that correct? Yes, sir. When was it you first noticed that a robbery was taking place? When a man walked up to the cash register and I saw Mrs. Benson handing the money to him. Did you see a gun at any time? I didn't see a gun until the man walked out. Where were you when you first observed that a robbery was taking place? I was about 8 feet from the cash register. Toward the door? Yes, sir. In other words, you were between the door and the robber. Is that right? Yes, sir. You have said that you saw Mrs. Benson handing over the money. Do you recall if that was how it happened? Or did the robber take the money out of the register? Mrs. Benson put the money on the counter, and then the robber picked it up. Is that correct? Yes, sir. He stuffed the bills in his pocket. Then he proceeded out the door? Yes, sir. What did you observe about the robber? I looked at his clothes and his face. What did you observe about his clothes? Well, he had on a black and red jacket and a black beanie. Did you report that information to the police? Yes, sir. And what did you observe about his face? I noticed that he had long hair and a scar on his cheek. Which cheek was that? His left cheek. Is there any question in your mind about that? No, sir. By the way, how old are you? I am 18. Okay, I'm going to switch transcripts. Plaintiff attorney will be questioning. Ready? How long have you worked for the Philadelphia Police Department? 3 years and approximately about 3.5 years. Did you have any police experience before that? No. Officer, we understand that you investigated an accident back on July 15, 2010 at the intersection of Grand and State Streets involving a couple named Michael and Susan Young. Does that seem correct to you so far? Do you have your report with you? with regard to that accident? Yes, I do. Please feel free to refer to it if and when you need to. Have you ever testified before, officer? I assume you must have somewhere along the line. Yes, I have. I won't pursue that then. Proceed, counsel. Tell us when the accident in question happened, if you please. The accident occurred at approximately 8 o'clock on 7/15/2010. Excuse me, have you had a chance to read your report before we started? I just glanced through it a minute ago. Okay, very well. Aside from what is written down in your report, do you have any independent recollection of the accident? In other words, can you picture it in your mind at all? Nothing other than what's in the report. Does the report refresh your memory to some extent? Yes, it does. Do you recall if there was any construction going on in the vicinity of the accident scene? Yes, there was. Can you tell us what construction was going on down there at the time? They were working on the center of the raised dividers on State and Grand Streets. Let me check my report here. Sure, take your time. As I indicated earlier, they were doing construction on both State Street and Grand Street on the raised dividers. The number 1 left turn lane for northbound State Street traffic to go westbound on Grand was temporarily closed by the placement of orange traffic construction markers. That's to go from southbound to eastbound Grand. Those were the only construction markers at the accident scene at the time. I'm not sure if I missed it, but did you say the center island on Grand also? Right. There were no traffic control dividers at that time. They were in a state of construction, but they weren't actually completed at that particular time. There were no traffic control dividers set out other than standard lane markings that are normally there. Okay. To your knowledge, was this the first installation of traffic lights, or had there been others there before? There was an installation of traffic lights at an earlier time. This has always been a signal lighted intersection, in my experience, with the Philadelphia Police Department. The signals were taken out and new ones were installed with modern or updated timing devices. I don't know exactly what was done, but I know they installed new signals as they were working on them for quite a while. At the time of this accident on July 15, 2010, was it the new signals that were controlling traffic or the old signals? I can't say for sure. However, based on the fact that the center divider work was being done, I feel that they were the new set of signals. The men were working on the center dividers, working and filling in the actual divider itself. Do you know, either from your own memory or from what's on your report, whether the old signals were still physically there, or had they been removed by the time this accident happened? I can't say. If these were the new signals, naturally, they were in place. Do you know where they base their operations? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I work with them periodically. I know they are an independent contractor, and I think the state hires them to do this type of signal work. Okay, that concludes our Q&A for the 100 practice. Have a great day.